Hey everybody, it's December 15th. I'm out here in Nebraska for the muzzleloader season. Huge snowstorm rolled through yesterday and the day before and kind of left finally this morning. I came in way to the south to stay out of the snow, trying to work my way up to the north. Uh, Reports are that there's upwards of 2 feet of snow in some of the areas that I was going to try and get to, so I don't think that's going to happen now. Uh, so I'm trying to skirt it a little bit to the east. The issue I'm running into is it's about -20 with the wind chill, and the wind is kicking the snow up that is down, and visibility is almost zero here today. The further north I go, the worse it gets. Um, Not too sure what I'm going to do for this trip. I was going to try and get a sandhill buck, but the only other option is to keep going north and get into some of the pines and hope that it knocks this wind down and we can find some deer up there. But I don't know. It's supposed to be the same tomorrow, and Saturday's not looking a whole lot better, so I don't know if it's worth putting a whole lot of time in this trip when I could be somewhere else. But I'm going to finish out the day here and see what I can find and make a decision later. Good morning, guys. It's December 16th. Uh, the snow and the wind was too much in northern Nebraska, so I had to abandon ship yesterday afternoon and go back down south where I've seen deer in the past. Uh, the one piece that I've hunted just in the block, I don't know, I've seen like 10 bucks last night. It was too low of light to get them on video camera, but a bunch of does too. I'm going to go to those pieces next. Just checking out this one small sliver right now. Actually ended up finding a decent 8-point. So I'm going to keep walking and see what we find. So the first spot that I was at this morning, ended up jumping a yearling doe. I couldn't get it on video. I was trying to figure out where it was when it jumped up. And then by the time I decided it was going to stand out there in front of me, it was behind a bunch of trees. But at the second location where I actually got a deer down here last year, uh, wind is still like 45 miles an hour. So I'm going to use that to my advantage and walk this edge of this woods way back in there about a mile and just check for rutting activity that took place this year and see if we can find a deer too. We got a nice little rub there. So I'm in these reed things. Not a big fan of them because they squeak like wet rubber when you're walking. The deer love them, but I'm not a huge fan because you can't sneak up on deer. And the problem with this piece without the right wind is you can't go down the trails without being busted. Alright guys, just jumped a pile of deer out of this area right here. There for sure was one buck with decent points, couldn't tell spread, but they all took off that way. The buck kind of hung out a little longer. He kind of went that way.
And them deer initially got up and ran when I was way back there. I have the wind in my favor, so one of them must have seen me. None of them really know what's going on. So I'm going to keep going that way. Get on the edge of this river. And then try and cut back around to where they can't wind me. And try and get a shot. So I just shot a buck right there by that rub, or shot at him anyway. Hit the wrong button on the GoPro, so I missed the video, I'm pretty sure, but there's two little bucks that came flying through, and then that buck was behind him and he stopped right there, so I shot real quick, and then there was another deer that took off behind him. There's deer all over in here. So the deer ended up going that direction. I'm going to go see if there's any blood, but I'm going to go that way more because of the wind. And I know this opens up more up there, so hopefully we're going to see what happens. So the deer came through here. It's headed down this trail. Got good blood. Didn't make it too far. Maybe 60 yards. So, decent little 8-point. It's December 16th. I don't have a lot of time to fill this tag. So, I got other states I'd like to get to yet. So, I'm more than happy with this guy. Learned a lot about this piece again. Now the work begins.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear this or not. It's super, super windy. So I ended up getting this 8-point. Ended up shooting him with the muzzleloader using the Hornady SSTs, 250 grain with two white hots, 50 grains. Got to pass through all kinds of trauma in the woods Kind of the main reason why I did shoot this deer, because I just switched to this load with this gun, and I really want to know what they do before Missouri muzzleloader opens up. I wasn't able to get one in Wisconsin with it, so got this guy down here in Nebraska. Couldn't do my original plan in northern Nebraska because of the big snowstorm, so drove back down south. A piece that I kind of know a little bit, at least I know there's deer here. Was chasing this guy and a bunch of other deer through this woods all morning. There probably was at least 10, for sure 3 bucks, this guy, and 2 other ones that were basically spikes or fork horns. As I was gutting this one, the deer were still running around me in there. They really don't know what happened. So I really like this spot. I'm tagged out in Nebraska. I think that I'll probably spend the night in the hotel again with this one, and probably leave super early in the morning and head to Missouri and try and fill an archery license there. Got till Sunday night, so it's only Friday. Oh, by the way, it was about 11 o'clock when I shot this one. Almost the same time as the deer I got in Kansas, so can't complain about that. Got all day to get the deer out. Left the deer cart at my house in Wisconsin, so I'm either going to quarter them or I brought my sled because I thought I was going to be hunting in snow, but I don't know how good that's going to slide, so I'm guessing I'm going to end up quartering them out, but we'll see. I'm going to drag them for a little while longer and then go back to the truck. Alright, got that deer all quartered up. It is windy and it is cold. I'm going to get this thing strapped to my pack, and I got about a 3/4 mile walk out yet from where I quartered this thing. I'm going to warm up in the truck, and then I'm going to cruise around, do a little scouting, and figure out a plan for tomorrow. Alright guys, I just want to do a recap on that hunt today. So basically those deer had no idea what was going on out there with the wind and everything. It actually, as I found, the closer I got to the river, it shifted from a northwest strong wind, which I had the advantage, to basically southeast wind off the river back to those deer where they were bedded. They still had, there's no way they could have smelled me, so one of them had to see me. But as I looped around trying to follow them, that southeast wind was not in my favor, which was the main reason why I was trying to cut across, and I jumped 4 or 5 of the does again, and there's a little loop in there along the river that I wanted to get around, but I wanted to get way back across by the ag field and swoop way to the west and come back around them on a southwest because of the wind. But in the process of doing that, those 2 little bucks, this buck that I shot and another deer, were in between me doing that process, but everything worked out. This is my first buck with a muzzleloader. The story behind the muzzleloader also, which has a little bit of meaning to me, is it was my grandpa's that he won way back in the day. So I put a scope on it this year, came out here and got this buck with it. As you seen, I quartered it out. It was just too far to drag the thing, and there's no way that my sled was going to slide. So, all in all, I'm pretty happy with this hunt. The weather and everything, it really threw a wrench in the plans, but I think it worked out for the best.